To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, folks at home. I'd like to start off our meeting tonight with the public comment from the school. Please meet Michael McElduff. Okay. He's the school superintendent, and he's going to give us all the good news about the budget.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you all the news. I'm going to give you all the news, and I'm going to lean on. I have the board president, Mrs. Ann Lawless, assistant superintendent for business, Mr. Carballo, and our assistant superintendent for curriculum, technology, and instruction, Ms. Adelstein. So thank you for giving me a few moments of your time so I can go over the 2025-2026 proposed budget. The budget vote is on May 20th at the Highland Falls Intermediate School from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We also have our 5th and 6th grade band and chorus concert that evening as well. So we hope for a big crowd and people come out to vote. So our budget this year, we believe we have a strong and robust educational program with our extracurricular activities and our athletics into that budget. The proposed budget is $40,762,582. That is a increase of 1.92% from budget to budget, so well below inflation. So that total increase from year to year is $767,441. The tax levy increase is also 1.92%. Those two numbers actually have no correlation. They just happen to fall both at 1.92. So within that, most of that increase is special education and general inflation on top of our contractual obligations with our vendors and also our employees. And that's where most of our budget is. We did have to make some reductions in order to close our budget gap. We had to reduce a custodial position and an aide position. However, those were not currently filled, so no one ended up losing their job. We did also reduce a secondary position that was also out of retirement. So again, trying to be fiscally responsible with cutting and meeting our budget goals. Some of the tougher news is we did have to let go of an elementary position, an additional secondary position, and a building administrator in order to close our budget gap. But all in all, our programming remains robust. We're excited to put this budget out to the voters on May 20th, like I said. Some other positive news, our capital projects are in full swing. The Fort Montgomery Elementary School is expected to reopen on September 1 to welcome our pre-K through second grade students back. We actually just toured it a little while ago, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So we will be getting that building back open to our community as we promised. Our other projects with our HVAC systems at the intermediate school and at James I. O'Neill will begin early June. They'll begin that renovation as well. So as we move forward with our actual budget, on top of having to reduce our workforce to close our budget gap, we also are using $400,000 in fund balance to help close that gap. So between myself, Mr. Carballo, and the Board of Education, we felt that we were able to do that with the fund balance we had, so we could continue to maintain our programming and not reduce additional positions at this time. If the budget doesn't pass, as you all know, school budgets, they have two options if it doesn't pass. The first time, we can put it out to a revote. That does take time, resources, materials, and money to get together and put together another vote. Also, we would have to try and figure out why it got voted down the first time, and that would possibly include making some additional cuts to put forth another budget vote. The other option is to go straight to a contingency budget, and I'll lean on Mrs. Lawless and Mr. Carballo to help help me to explain that a little bit more for folks who aren't aware of contingency budgets. But New York State, we would be required for our contingency budget to cut $223,845 out of our budget. On top of, so how would we get to that? Additional staffing cuts, reducing maintenance, technology, professional development for our staff. And on top of that, we would have to charge the community to use our resources, our facilities, I should say. That is not our mandate, that's a state mandate. But the two main programs that use our facilities more than anyone else is the rec department and our after-school program, Connect, that is run by the AOG. Two programs that obviously we don't want to charge. We haven't charged them in the past. We don't want to go forward and charge them again. I just want to be clear, we're not looking to charge them. This is only if the budget was to get voted down and we had to go to contingency budget. I'll have Mr. Cambarlo briefly explain where that $223,000 would come from.
Yeah, so we would have additional cuts across the board. Initially, the $223,000, the reason that number is there is that represents the actual increase in taxes from year to year. By regulation, you cannot increase your tax levy if you do go to a contingency budget, so that total amount would have to come out. So as Mr. McElroy said, it would potentially lead to having additional staffing cuts, additional just reductions across the board, everything from maintenance to some technology, some professional development, and then probably the elimination of one of our sheriff's deputies.
Correct. And the other piece that concerns us about if the budget doesn't pass in the contingency budget is we would risk losing we would risk losing $1.2 million of our federal impact aid because we have to show a maintenance of effort every year to the federal government. And what that basically means is that we're spending at least $1 more on our students every year from the local tax. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, $1 more per student.
Yeah. So going out with a zero or flattening our budget would jeopardize that. And we have been in that predicament recently as a few years ago during COVID, where we had to fight like heck to get that $1.2 million. So it doesn't really leave us a lot of room to work with. And if you're reading about what's going on with the federal government now, federal funding is a concern of ours anyway. So we don't want to jeopardize any of that. So just one last time, May 20th from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Highland Falls Intermediate School. We look forward to seeing everyone out there come out and vote, and I'll take any questions.
Yeah, I got a question. So actually, maybe a couple. So the first one is, to make sure I heard your assistant there correctly, that in the contingency budget, the possible elimination of sheriff deputies in there.
Yeah, that would also be in part of that, yes.
Okay, all right. And so the other question would be, with all these cuts that I just heard, because I know you guys at one time was big on DEI. Is that cut too?
No, all of our student programs have not changed. So we still have all of the after-school clubs that we've had prior. On top of, we just celebrated our bilingualism event, first time that we ran that. That was for 18 students who passed the NICET/SLAT test that basically states they are now bilingual. So we just had a huge celebration for that. So we're looking forward to continuing that new tradition as well as everything else that we have been doing for the past number of years. So we're not looking to cut anything out of our program in terms of that.
Okay, that's it for me.
Anybody else on the board? Questions on the board?
I apologize, I couldn't make the meeting you had, the town hall meeting a week or two ago.
Yes, yeah, a few weeks ago, Richie. Yeah.
I was on the board with them. We know what a contingency budget is like. It's miserable, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But with the impact aid, which is near and dear to my heart, I understand it's always in danger, but it sounds like it's especially in danger this year. And for anybody watching, that comes from Harry Truman when he was president, and it comes for the federal government took land, not just military, national parks, laboratory in Illinois, Armont Laboratory,
Yep.
whatever it is and whatnot, and we're entitled to that. If we had that 16,000 acres to tax, it wouldn't come, it would go far beyond, what is it, 3.1 we received?
So currently, we receive 3.7 roughly. If we were to be fully funded,
Yep.
It would be just over 24 million a year.
Yep. So I'm passionate about it. I want to thank you all for your efforts, and this is political. If Chuck Schumer is ever not our senator, that's in trouble. Chuck Schumer takes good care of us on the impact aid.
Yeah, let me just say to the people at home, the reason I asked that particular question about your contingency, so people are aware, and I don't know if they're comfortable with losing one of those deputy sheriffs over there, so they need to be out and voting, in my opinion, so,
I appreciate you bringing that up.
yeah.
Anyone, Annie?
Again, I'm sorry, this is a very small community, and there are people here that can't afford to feed themselves. So you cut an administrative, what did you say? A building administrator.
Yes, ma'am.
What position is that?
It was an assistant principal specifically.
Okay. And then the special ed is a significant part of your budget, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I've been trying to find the breakdown of tuition for special education children and the breakdown of the children in the district. And I haven't been able to find that complete breakdown. Would you guys be able to provide me that?
So it's on the New York State Education portal. It is, I actually looked it up because I believe you brought that up about a week ago.
Yes.
So our average from, I believe it's always a year behind, so the 23-24, I believe we, in total, the district is about 28,000 per child. So we are a few thousand over the state average, but we're pretty close to the county average.
Okay, and then you used 400,000 of your fund balance out of your 6.9 million, so you now have 6.5 million?
No, ma'am, we have 6 million in our fund balance, so we will be using 400,000 of that, which will bring that to around 5.6. The reason which sounds significant, Mrs. Laws, I know you can jump
We
in.
spoke about this at the village board meeting. Just to be clear to anyone who's out there listening, if we lose our impact aid, Mr. Sullivan just asked how much it is, 3.7 million. If anyone's watching the news and listening to us or came to our meeting, we haven't been in this much trouble that we're in right now. We got another email today, I believe it was, or yesterday, talking about it's in jeopardy, okay? They're begging us, basically, to make sure we're at the June meeting. Our impact aid is in jeopardy for next year, 3.7 million. We have to have that money in our fund balance. So we're down to 5.4?
So we'd be at 5.6. So
5.6, we need that 3.4 to keep our doors open. We just got our state aid. It was
flattened, yeah.
Flattened again.
So 2%.
2%. We were hoping for more. We were almost promised more. We don't know what's going to happen next year. This past year, as I stated at the last couple of meetings that we were at, we had to use our fund balance to help us get out of our flood conditions,
The earthquake.
the earthquake damage that we had. We're still waiting for FEMA, and
2 pipes burst. One in the back of James O'Neill and one recently in the gymnasium.
right. So that's a very scary place to be in with this, what I call our savings account. So
And
it
I hope
seems
you
like
never put that money out, because once you do it, then they'll just say, maybe they don't need us anymore.
So it's very scary to, while I agreed to the 400,000, everyone always looks at me on the board. I mean, it seems like a little amount of money, and 6 million seems extensive, but it's not, especially knowing that we always have to keep the 4 million in there for impact aid, to cover us for impact aid. So a couple years ago, we had a New York State audit. They come in and audit our books. And there is a law about having a certain percentage
Correct.
in your fund balance. You can't have over a certain percentage. And they actually, while they wrote us up for having too much, they actually put a note in there and said, but it's okay because of their situation with impact aid. Because they said they can't make sure that balance is too low just in case. No, especially now more than ever. We are very concerned. And we want to thank the community for the letters that they've written and for their continued support. We're very concerned about our impact going into 25, 26.
Absolutely.
And then the total number of students that we educate in this,
Just under 950 this year.
under 900, so we're...
No, under 950.
950, okay. So under 1,000, and then you have a 40.762.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's no other fat that can be cut. I'm speaking for the elderly that I talk to so much, and they're afraid, they don't have kids in the school district. Have you, I mean, I just need to know that historically, it's been looked at to educate our special needs children here in our district. What is the tuition we're paying in these other school districts? What is the transportation cost? I mean, we have an empty building again on Mountain Avenue. I don't want to beat the dead horse, and I certainly don't want to shoot the messenger, but it's atrocious. I'm sorry, it just is. So any money that you can have to either replenish it, maybe lease it, or bring the special needs community into that building, I think if places like Schuylerville, New York, are doing in-house, fully inclusive schools, there's a reason, because they have no money. That's why they do it. And I want this school board and you, sir, to look into and tell us why we can't, that's not a good thing for us to do here in the town of Highlands.
Yep. So just currently, we do have students with special needs within our district, in all three buildings. However, some of the students, we are just unable to serve all of their needs. And the three buildings that are operational, we don't have the capacity to bring them all back on top of the amount of money that it would cost. We do review this regularly to see what we can do. But at this time, we cannot open that building, the closed building that you're speaking of. We are in constant communication with the state and also any municipalities who are looking to potentially review it to purchase or lease. Those are always ongoing, and we don't stop that. So it's just one of the things that we do. But currently, that is not an option to reopen that due to the amount of money it would cost. We don't have it.
Okay, and then the other thing is, out of the 950 students, how many are bused out of the district?
I do not have that number off the top of my head.
Mr., I'm sorry, you make a very hefty salary. I would think you could have those that's a small piece of information, I would hope, as a superintendent, you would have in your head.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. So I hope that you can produce that information before May 20th, because I'm not going to be an advocate, and I have been here with a contingency budget before, and we survived, and I hope that we would survive it again. I'm more fearful going forward of not cutting every cost we can possibly cut. This is dire straits, not only for the school district, Mrs. Wallace, for the country, for the state, for the county, for the town, the village, the whole nine yards. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Thank you very much for a great presentation. I appreciate it.
Where can I put these?
You can go right over to the town clerk.
Absolutely. I don't want to step over that. I might trip.
Thank you for giving us the time.
Thank you.
And do you guys want to stay for the rest of the meeting, or would you like to leave?
We have our own board meeting on Thursday, so we'll prepare for that.
Okay.
But appreciate the invite.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Prior to coming to the meeting tonight, I saw Mr. McNulliff at the O'Neill School where there was a track meet going on. It was senior day for the kids in the track meet, but it was, for me, it was nice to see the superintendent of the schools at an athletic event, such as a track meet, not a football game, where O'Neill is playing this one and that one, but it was nice to see him at the track meet. And there were a lot of parents there for their kids that were graduating. It was just very, very nice, and I marvel over how nice our athletic facility is.
I asked someone, where are they throwing the shot put? And they said, oh, it's up on the hill between the softball field and the other field. Just take those stairs up. Okay. When I got to the top of the stairs, I was huffing and puffing. And when I came back down the stairs after seeing this, they got 2 elevators to bring you up there. 2 elevators, and I did the stairs. So maybe it was good for me. Anyway, we'll continue on with our meeting here. I have public comment. Is there anything on our agenda that the public would like to talk about? On the agenda. Okay, if not, then we'll ask for approval of the previous minutes of April the 28th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. The following New York State Legislative Resolution 4079 to honor court clerks on May the 20th of each year has come to our attention. Court clerks support essential public services. Their paralegal capacities include detailed review of each court document to ensure accuracy according to court jurisdiction and legal processes. They assist judges, manage court calendars, and keep official records of courtroom activity. They must complete annual training and ongoing training for changes in the law and legal procedures that require them to conform procedures as necessary. Communicating and coordinating with various public agencies, attorneys, and litigants and the public requires precise written and verbal communication skills. They serve the community with dedication. And I thank our girls in the court. We appreciate them and the work that they do. Okay, I transferred $66,048 from the consolidated account to the paying account. MVP Healthcare, health insurance for May 2025, $45,108. KS State Bank for the interceptor final payment for the police car, $11,922. Royal Carting for sanitation haulage, $2,900. VRI Environmental Services for Brooks Lane water repair, $1,274. Spectrum Internet Cable Service for April, $593. And in the requests and resolutions, I'd like to ask the board to declare the police Tahoe surplus. This is the Tahoe that is a 2014. It's got a mileage of 221,000, and I have the VIN number, which I won't bore anybody with the whole number. So would anybody like to declare this vehicle surplus? And then we'll put it out to auction.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Okay, I don't have a written resolution because we don't need one, but I'd like to ask the board's permission to use the Mine Dock Park Reserve funds for trees to be planted as a screening fence on the riverside of the sewer plant. I'd like to spend a maximum of $4,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Now, we do have a resolution. In order to spend money out of the Park Reserve Fund, we need a resolution. We can't just spend it. So I have a resolution to authorize expenditure from the Park Reserve Fund for Mine Dock Park. We'd like to spend up to $5,000 from the Capital Reserve Fund
to pay for capital improvements at the Mindock Park. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
Motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corber? Aye. And Supervisor Legacy?
Aye. Board liaison reports. We'll start out with Councilman Sullivan.
Well, I got Brian.
I thought I'd catch you.
Everybody's saying, I hope he doesn't find it, but sorry, I did. So I know Nancy is the liaison to planning and zoning. I just want to say zoning is the third Wednesday of the month. Planning is the third Thursday of the month. This month is tricky. The planning comes before the zoning because this month started on a Thursday. So I believe it's this Thursday night is a planning board meeting. And I saw that the zoning board of appeals did get an application, so I'm sure they will be meeting a week from this coming Wednesday here at 7 o'clock, okay? Open to the public. The DPW is back at the Drew Road Drainage Project. The batting cage is back down at Brooks's Park. It looks very nice. Mindock Park looks great. I spent some time up at the garage today with our new mechanic and with Tiffany, asking a few questions about sanitation in Garrison Pond. I'll get to all that. They've done a lot of work between Mindock and Brooks Park and Drew Road drainage projects and other things, and I would like to take a moment to talk about their day last Tuesday. A little over 2 weeks ago, the Swans had 7 little cygnets, like they usually do every year. Somehow, in some way, that number got reduced to 6 as of last Tuesday morning. And on Tuesday of last week, after the heavy rain, 5 of them got washed down the drain pipe, which comes out down where they are doing work on Drew Road. I would like to recognize and thank Greg Marr and Matty Beal and the rest of the DPW as they went through the trouble of climbing inside the pipe to try and fetch the swans. One neighbor down there, Jane Oswald, helped out, along with another good neighbor who lives on the lake, Kevin Smebin. Our animal control officer, Kathy McGinnis, was on hand, and she contacted a couple people from the Bear Mountain Zoo that came to check out the swans. 4 of them were released back into the lake. One of them had an injured leg and was taken to the zoo or to a rehab facility. I'm not sure where it's at. And in living next to that lake all of my life, it has been my experience. If a swan is badly injured, if you were to put it back, the father would drown it. So that was a good decision. I don't know if it'll ever come back or it's going to end up. I'll try and follow up on that. I'll call the zoo sometime later in the week. Water tank, our new water tank is full. It holds 185,000 gallons. We did that over a 4-day period of time to keep use well below our limit with the Village of Highland Falls. And as prescribed, as the Department of Health, it was superchlorinated. It's going through the process of the chlorine levels evaporating, going down over time. They do various tests on it, and they'll let us know when it can be used to be put into the system. Our engineer has been contacted for some better as-built drawings, and I expect sometime at the end of this week or next week to have that tank online. Last week, I think they spent 3 days on it. They flushed the hydrants in the system in Fort Montgomery. One day they had to stop. When it rains very heavy, the plant in the Village of Highland Falls, they'll shut it down and operate off their reserves because the water becomes very turbid. That's a wise decision. So I think last Tuesday they might have shut it down for a day. And but it took them 3 days to flush the hydrants. And if you take a look at some of the bills we've gotten, like, you know, when they were filling that tank, there was someone there for 4 days and 4 nights. We got a bill for under $400. I mean, it's very reasonable what VRI is doing for us down there. It's working out well. For the month of March, we averaged 71,642 gallons per day. So now on Garrison Pond. I called Carl Cummings today. He works for a company called Solitude, and Bob and I communicated on this along with Justin about a month and a half ago, so the ball's kind of in my court. there's a weed or a growth called coontail, and when they treat, that's one of the target weeds that they get rid of. It's also a swan food. We had periods of time over the last few years where the swans, for no reason, would get up on Montgomery Road and walk down to the Hudson River. We weren't sure if it was because of their food source being challenged, it was because of coyotes, snapping turtles, whatever, but we asked the Solitude to come a little bit delayed to treat it. This year, the problem is that we want them to come. We got a notification from them that you'll like this, that's a 10-acre lake. They have a criteria that says if a lake is less than 12.4 acres, they're now qualified as being a wetland, not a lake. And the additional permit fee is $3,000 over a 5-year period of time. I think we can pay that $600 a year. So I called Carl Cummins before the meeting and left a message. We're gonna have to go ahead and I don't think we need a resolution. We're gonna have to take $600 out of the fund. I think there's $9,000 to treat Garrison Pond. And we're gonna have to get them down there and fight the permit another time, because the growth has gotten pretty significant down there. I don't like it. If that's not a wetland, that's a lake, but that's how they're qualifying it, and they're charging us more money to get the permit to treat it. So that's why Garrison Pond has not been treated yet. Don't panic, it will be. Sewer plant is running good. The chlorination and dechlorination as per law after April 1st are operating. The new aerator blower ordered by TAM is awaiting. So the blower aerator motor was ordered, and I think that's going to be about $9,000. They have a pressure tank down there, which is part of the plant water system. That tank is only 4 years old. 4 years old. It's defective. It needs to be replaced. TAM is awaiting you to give them the go-ahead. I think that's going to be about $6,000. I have the email. I just have to go ahead and tell them to do it. They need the plant water. The plant water is treated sewage, but it's not potable, and they use it for a lot of systems down there, including when they run the sludge press at the other end. Remember that $55,000 extra to run a bigger line because the original one wasn't big enough? That's all from the plant water system. So that's what's going on down at the sewer plant. The Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee met virtually last Friday. It was only Olga and I. There wasn't too much to report about, except we didn't have a hike this winter. We tried to, but it was too iffy. So either the last Saturday in May or early Memorial Day morning, I'm gonna see if people are interested. We're gonna take a hike in the area of the Popolopan Gorge, and I intend to go to the top of the Torn, especially on Memorial Day. Most of the holidays like Veterans Day, Memorial Day, I like to go up there. We'll put that in the paper once we get it put together. I hope to have it in the paper next week. The center. Agnes Safori, Ann Molina, John Flynn, I want to thank all of them for sponsoring the last sit-and chat, which I gave on the subject of Marty Marr. I also want to thank Joey DeWitt for coming there and taping it. The PowerPoint was about 35 minutes long, which I put onto Facebook, and the presentation audience included people like Peter Carroll, Michael Graber, Ned Copold, Neil Kreitzer, Stella Root. A couple of the Marr descendants were there. These people are pundits of the community that contain within them information that is very attractive to all of us. And I haven't uploaded that video yet, but I'm going to. I don't want anybody looking at me. I'm not the reason for it, but what Michael Graber and these people have to add to it. Marty Marr, who was 55 years at West Point, taught swimming for 35 years, but could not swim. Taught Michael Graber how to swim. So that's the Irish flair that he had, and the movie starred Tyrone Powers and Maureen O'Hara. So we had a nice presentation there. And I think I'm almost done. Now for the building department. I'll read off the numbers from April at the next meeting for the building department statistics. For this month, I just want to say a lot of effort has gone into things such as enforcing what the village refers to as their solid waste in their code, along with their property maintenance. I've sent a large amount of data to the whole village board, bringing to their attention matters we think need to be addressed in the implementation of these codes. I have alongside of me right here, I tried to do this today to compare The village waste code, which is about 20 pages, along with the town one. They're different. So it takes time to go through all that. Not saying one's better than the other. And along with those regulations, I have here the recent sanitation things that we acted on about a month and a half ago. These are not new. These are from 2007. We blew the dust off of them and just re-implemented them. And I'm going to read number 8. Buildings with 4 or more apartments shall be required to supply a dumpster of adequate size. If it is determined a dumpster is not practical, then owners shall be required to purchase 1 town-approved receptacle for every 2 apartments. Any property with 3 or more containers will incur dumpster fees twice a year. I can't tell you how much strife that has added to my life in the last couple of weeks, but whatever, we're getting through it. There were 69 accounts. There were 20 in the town, 49 in the village. The recent updates resulted in 23 more, and I would have to read our code, which I didn't have a chance to do yet. If people wanted to challenge that, I believe it's up to the town board to provide them for relief if that's what they wanted to do. I'm not sure about that. I don't like to make things that I'm not well prepared. So that's what's going on with that. We've gotten away from worrying about the serial numbers on the cans. Rather, like I said, like an Amazon package being delivered. If it's in front of a building and it's in violation, they take a picture, and that building will basically be the reference point for where the advisory notice is gonna go. And they've sent out a lot of them, okay? In the village of Highland Falls, up where Alina lives, when you go up Schneider Avenue and whatnot, there are places where there are sidewalks and no alleyways for quite a distance. Out here in this parking lot, this is a municipal lot belonging to the village of Highland Falls. There's a building down here at the north end, which Moses had an interaction with the owner just today. He's had a couple of them with advisory notices. And the owner, I don't think, is that interested. He says, that garbage isn't mine, that came from somewhere else. Moses suggested to him maybe he should put up a camera, trying to work with him in an amicable way. All I'm gonna say is that lot belongs to the village of Highland Falls, and over in the corner right now is a mess. However it got there, I don't know, but there is a mess over in the corner. We're addressing it as best we can, and they've been busy down there trying to catch up with all that stuff. And for the recycling cans, about 4 years ago, I purchased a new one, and I had Tiffany and Pat Patterson bring it into the meeting, and I introduced it to everybody, because I paid $88 for it. I didn't get it for free. When you buy them, they don't repair them. They said they would, but as a general rule, they don't repair them. The green cans have been beaten to death with the winds we've had over the winter. There's a lot of them that don't have lids on them. They'll catch up with them because the green cans are subject to repair by the highway department. They take care of those. So I know there's a lot of them that have lids missing. The winds over the winter were brutal on them. They'll catch up with them one thing at a time. And that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Councilman King.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Just a few notes from me, and we'll start with the upcoming Juneteenth celebration that we do here in the town of Highlands annually. It's be Saturday, June 21st, 11 a.m. What will be different this year, we're not going to do a parade per se. Last year we had a huge parade, and the year before was just a little less huge. But for given the climate and the cost of everything, what we're going to do is, in lieu of that parade, do a march and have the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club come through and lead that march, and then take that Juneteenth flag to Memorial Park like normal, raise it, and have a ceremony and celebration of sorts in Memorial Park that lasts about approximately 1 hour. And then we'll go over enjoying the festivities that's happening at Roe Park shortly thereafter, which is a big community type festival. So kind of combining things that's going on and trying to show one united front in that respect. In terms of something you heard me talk about several weeks ago, we're getting close to execution. It looks like we're going to do the coloring with Councilman King over at the library, And the two dates that we're looking at right now, I'm going to be at the library tomorrow to confirm one of these two dates, but May 23rd, which is a Friday, and May 30th, which is also a Friday. So we're looking at a theme of doing these coloring events on Friday afternoonish. More to follow in terms of details, but I'm going to invite two people to help me if their calendar and their schedules permit, one of which is trustee Alina Olivia, got it right that time? And then the other is Miss Hannah Pitt from the Center Incorporated. So they have both communicated interest in assisting with this, so the invitation's there, but it's happening, right? We're gonna go out there and we're gonna do it. I've already got some pledges to help with coloring books and supplies. And for those who just catching up with us, why coloring? Initially, my statement was coloring with the seniors as a way of helping with loneliness and even some cognitive issues, because it's a evidence-based practice that those who use coloring to help relax themselves and help get their mind right, it's effective, right? And so we was going to open that up, but then we found that there's others who enjoy this particular outlet. And so what we're going to do is, I'm just going to be there. Whoever shows up, and then we'll see if we can grow it into something special. So more to follow. Moving on. I attended two major events in the last couple of weeks, which I have to mention were phenomenal. One of which was People Who Make a Difference Day. I feel like I'm sitting on the board here with at least one celebrity who I'm not gonna say who, that got an award, but it's somewhere on the left down there, all right? So, but it was an incredible event. Really, the bios of each one, to include my colleague here on the left, was just remarkable and impressive. So hats out to the women's of the Hudson Valley, the Women's Association of Hudson Valley, that put that thing on every single year, and they didn't disappoint this year. It was phenomenal. And then right back to back, those who, some of which were involved in the previous week, came back and did a Mother's Day program this Saturday passing, and right before Mother's Day on Sunday. And once again, hats off, congratulations, thank you to all who put that together, and a special thank you to John Flynn, who's always behind the scenes, putting his magic dust on everything, so thank you. And then I'll conclude with, I attended, since the supervisor was giving out some kudos for attendance stuff, I just want to give me some free chicken. I attended today at James I. O'Neill Cross, hold up. It was, what do you call that with the sticks? Lacrosse. Over in Newburgh, New York, of all places. Who was the team that they played? Because I don't even know who they were playing. I'm assuming it was Newburgh, or it could have been Cornwall, because the colors was green and white. But great job to our team for going out there representing. And I think it was James I. O'Neill. They had JIO on the front of the shirts. And so I don't know anybody else that wears those initials.
What, you wandering out there?
I just happened to be in the area, so I pulled over. I thought it was my team.
Actually, I thought they were at O'Neill tonight also, but I might be wrong.
And our colors and our initials. So I hope I was rooting for the right people. That's it for me.
That's it, that's enough. Councilman DeWitt, please.
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, everybody. Ty, thank you for the shout out. I was, that award, I was certainly surrounded by some really accomplished people. Of course, I joked, I said, yeah, I'm getting awarded because I'm afraid of three women, Olga Anderson, Sally Dorsch, and Ann Molina. When they tell me to jump, I say how high, because if I don't, well, again, I'm afraid of them, and I got a pickup truck. But no, more than that, it was an honor. Thank you for mentioning it. And Richie, congratulations again on that sit and chat. They're wonderful amount of information comes out of those. It was really interesting. Obviously, I grew up with our friend Chris Nielsen.
Yep.
It was in the Marr family, and I mean, I learned a lot that night, and I just watched the brain power of what comes out of you and Michael Graber and Peter Carroll and everybody else that contributes. It's like the amount of history that's in everybody's minds it's impressive, and it's a really nice night. So I'm
And I owe
glad
you an apology. When you got your award, I was on 9W picking up garbage that morning with other people, so I didn't make it. My apologies, John.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you. We started out the morning with a good email from Aaron Falk. I'm just going to read it. He found out this morning that he was approved for a $2,000 grant from the West Point Spouses Club that they can use for summer rec supplies and activities. So congratulations and thank you to the West Point Spouses Club for, again, throwing support into our community and helping out something where it'll definitely impact all the kids involved. Those programs are always really successful, and thank you, Aaron, for what you do. Got a few contractors in town hall this week. We're looking at upgrading our lights to LEDs, trying to be environmentally sound. We're looking into air conditioning system, new doors, things that make the building tight, light, and everything great. So nothing much to report. The process is happening. Community-wise, I attended the coalition meeting at the high school the other day. Of course, it was mostly took up by the school board, which presented everything you heard tonight. And we got a first-hand round of it the other day. It just, again, Annie, I know you had a lot of questions, but it's a tough situation. It's a tough budget, and we're in a tough position with dollars and whatever. We're one of, I guess, 12 schools, I guess, really, we rely on over $1 million in that assistance. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We also, Bob and I attended, along with the mayor, with the Highland Falls leadership meeting. We learned Cornish game hens are going to be the specialty, right?
Yep, there you go.
At Westie's, right? Is that?
No, not at
the
Westie's,
park.
no, the park.
At the
Yeah,
park.
the park.
So a couple good things. Again, we're just talking about AOG's involvement with the community, and again, they're really trying to stay involved. They're doing some follow-up. We're looking at the Park Restaurant. Definitely, I guess, opening within the next 2 weeks. I think they're hoping for next week, maybe 2 weeks. I think they said Westie's was September 1st now,
Yeah, August, September, yeah, and the other one is before graduation.
And
At the
hopefully,
park, yeah.
and we had all asked, including Mayor DeSalvo, asked them, even though they're not directly related to the gentleman owns the key back in the church. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm tired tonight. Mr. Manicosi, to follow up to see, because we haven't heard much from him, so we're hoping to get some updates from him as well to see what his plans are, because we have a momentum going, especially here in the village, with development and restaurants opening, and let's hope we can keep going. We'll be very supportive in any way we can. Other community things coming up, June 11th, there's a blood drive. I believe it's hosted by Senator Skoufis. It's going to be happening at the Senior Center, and again, it's run by the Red Cross. You can go online, make an appointment, but if you're like to give blood, that's coming up in a month, again, at the Senior Center. Also, as we know, we've had an abundance of rain, and we've had to the groups had to reschedule those events. The Family Fun Day, which is now in Hope Rocks. I wrote the note, put the date down. I think it's June 21st. Thank you. As always, MJ, thank you for throwing out facts for me. Again, June 21st, so both those events, Family Fun Day will be at Fickens Field from 12 to 4, and the Hope Rocks event, which my understanding is when they had to cancel the first time, they lost a lot of their acts, but now that they've rescheduled it for June, it's going to be even bigger and better. Now it'll go from 2 to 7, and that'll be at Roe Park proper, up around where the bathroom and the stands are there. So that's coming up. So, let's see, we got Aaron. That's everything. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Councilwoman Corbett.
Thank you. I have the April report from the ambulance corps. They were dispatched on 59 calls, 52 they were able to answer. 3 they were not able to answer because there was no driver or EMT available. 4 calls because they were 2 calls at one time and there was not a second crew. I see when the calls are, and you would be amazed at how many times there's one call and then within 15 or 20 minutes there's another call somewhere in the village or within the town or out at Long Mountain Circle or wherever it is, and Bear Mountain Circle gives us a lot of business, and so the ambulance corps is busy. At the same time, they're having some staffing issues because some of the EMTs are going on to other opportunities. We've got one who's going to go to the NYPD Academy. So we are always looking for volunteers to help out with the ambulance corps. Let's see, what else? What I haven't heard yet is just a reminder that on Saturday, the 24th, at the Senior Center, there is a free class to learn about preparing for emergencies. Joe and I went to it out at Orange County, and it's been presented here. It's a great class, and it's quick. It's going to be in the afternoon of Saturday, May 24th. It's at 3 p.m. Now, that's graduation day, but generally by the afternoon, all of the crowd has left here. So it's actually not a bad day to go down and take advantage of that. The registration is required. You can visit www.prepare.ny.gov. And if you have any trouble with that, you can go on the website, get my address. I can help you to register with that. But I really can't recommend it enough. It's an excellent program, and they give you a little freebie. You get a bag with all kinds of emergency supplies. It's worth the time to go do that. This Saturday, May 17th, community art sales are going on. So from midweek on, you can do that at your own place. There are spots at Holy Innocents, set up from 7:30 a.m. I think they're trying to start at about 9 a.m., but you are welcome, and I think it's a $25 fee that you could pay and just show up there on the day. If you do not have room to get rid of all your treasures at your own place or with friends, do that. But just know the 17th is the date for that. There's also the car show, Town Highlands Chamber, great car show, north end of Main Street. And the Center of Highland Falls will be initiating a support group for those living with and or affected by Alzheimer's disease. There'll be 2 information sessions at the center, our neighbors right down the street here, 264 Main Street, on June 18th at 11:30 a.m. and same day, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., just a general information session. That's everything that I have, sir.
I may have missed you saying it, but the Chamber of Commerce cordially invites everyone to the ribbon cutting. Did you have that?
Oh, I did. I missed that. Sorry, I didn't put that in here.
Okay. The ribbon cutting for a new chamber member on Main Street, Good Day Play Cafe. That will be on Sunday, June the 1st at 11 a.m. We welcome the board to attend and possibly say a few words. We're not going to have Richie come. That's there will be music, raffles, light refreshment, and so much more. So that's coming up.
What time is that at?
11 a.m. I think.
11 a.m.
Okay. This past Saturday, we had a river sweep down at Mindock Park, headed by Emily Nugent, and her marriage name, I don't remember. It was kind of a difficult name. We had a number of people that were from other organizations down there, And the nice part of it was, we got very little garbage. There was very little trash. It wasn't even enough to fill one of our cans. So that was nice. That was good. And we got one tire, which was no big deal. I want to thank the different organizations and people that have cleaned up along Route 9W. They've been doing it for years. We have some single individuals that want no notoriety whatsoever, and they go out and they pick up their trash, the trash. I know the Rotary does it, and I'm not sure who does it with the Rotary, so I'll take the blame for not remembering somebody, but I do thank everyone that cleans up 9W, because it gets to be a mess once the snow gets away and you can see what's on the sides of the road. One other announcement. Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Ekus will introduce bills this week that would authorize the town to implement a hotel motel tax. After they have the Senate and Assembly bills introduced, they will send a home rule authorization request to the town. At that point, the town, Justin, can pass a resolution, complete the home rule forms, and mail them to the state legislature.
That's correct.
That was an initiative of Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Ekus. And Chief, do you have anything?
The April statistics for the police department, we responded to 641 calls, of which 360 were directed patrols. We handled 6 cases, made 1 arrest, initiated 98 vehicle stops, wrote 46 tickets, and handled 15 motor vehicle accidents. And it was James I. O'Neill at Mount St. Mary's tonight.
Thank you for confirming that, Chief.
Kelly, what's the name of the tower that we were talking about? Got the bill today.
American Tower is the billing company. It's
The tower that we use across the river in Putnam, that's I think it's in Beacon in Putnam County, or we pay $1,900 a month for use of that tower. What I'd like you to do, if you would, Chief, is find out, do we need that? I mean, what is it for?
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, give them a copy of the bill and whatever. Yeah, it's just, we've been paying it as long as I can remember, and it keeps going up each year, too, by the way. Inflation brings that price up. So I'd like to know if we really need it in 1900.
My guess is it's going to be for these radios, but I'll confirm.
Yeah, and we need it, then, no big deal. Public comment. Anybody? Public comment.
Just one thing, also going on Saturday.
Please, would you come up to the microphone? And I apologize, Alina, that I like to announce certain public officials that are here at the beginning of the meeting, and I missed you, but your name was used 3 or 4 times, so everybody knows you are here. And thank you for coming to our meeting.
Of course. Good evening, Alina Olivia, village resident. I just have, this weekend is the community garden is doing a spring celebration. It says plant sale, Gardening 101 discussion, Composting 101, and Gardening crafts, and that is at the Community Garden at Holy Innocents from 10 to 1. So that's also going on this weekend. So there's several things going on Saturday, so there should be a lot of fun to be had. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody? No? Well, then I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Okay, before I do that, I got one thing I forgot, and...
How'd you know I was talking to you?
Well, it's telepathy.
Okay.
So a young man that most people are familiar with, I found out that was accepted to the West Point Prep School. I just want to give him a little shout out here because I recall meeting this young man probably when he was in 6th grade, and ever since then, he's been wanting to go to West Point. And it wasn't an easy road because when he first applied, he didn't get it, and then he kept trying to figure out, then finally somebody says that he was going to get close to getting in the Navy, and that's when I stepped in.
Better believe it, yeah.
But that was Colin Monahan, our Eagle Scout, who's done a lot of work around here.
He was at the track meet today performing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did he win?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, he's a senior, so they had a little thing for him.
So, with that, I'd like to say, I make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.